Well, welcome. We're going to go ahead and get started. For this practice, grab 2 blocks if you haven't already, two sturdy books, and you're going to want a strap or a belt. If you have blocks or if you have books, we're going to get started in Virasana, Hero's Pose. Take your blocks, everybody, side by side, and come onto your shins. If it's not accessible for your knees, just come to a Sukhasana, a cross-legged position. And then place the blocks directly underneath your sits bones. And I want you to sit a little bit more forward towards the edge of the blocks, almost like you're having a sensation of tilting your buttock bones just slightly up and off. So there's a slight lift of the buttock bones, everybody, to lift your sternum a little bit more forward and up. And then sit back down. Take your hands and cup your heels. And then see if you can inch your feet in a little bit more around the block and really make a good cup. Hands to the heels. See if you can really make a good fit, a good connection. And then let's start with the toes. Really spread the toes. So you can spread the big toe all the way to the pinky toe edge of the foot. And maybe the top of the pinky toe edge of the foot connects to the ground. Maybe it doesn't. And then see if you can really notice where you are in this moment. Start to observe what's in front of you, observe what's behind you, what's to the left of you, what's to the right of you, even what's up and what's down. And then think that your perineum really roots you down, but there's also a lift up through the crown of your head. And then start to turn your big toes in and down just slightly. And what that's going to do is if you push your big toes down and in, it's going to allow your inner thighs to roll in just slightly, but it's also going to help your outer hips to press out a little bit more out towards the side. And then spread your awareness to your pinky toe edge of your foot. Again, really see if you can press the pinky toe edge of your foot in and down. So there's a slight turn out of the thighs and the hips move out to their own sides. And then take a moment here, maybe you close the eyes or you take the gaze down, whatever feels most supported for you today. And then as we come to practice today, we're going to be working with a lot of body mapping around our pelvis. And so start to notice these points in the pelvis, really noticing your right buttock bone, noticing the front of your left knee. And then notice your left buttock bone. See if you can move it down a little bit into the block. And then use your imagination to travel across to the front of your right knee, making an X in the center of your pelvis. And then start to widen through the collarbones. Think that the tips of the shoulder blades move forward into the chest. There's really this action of spreading, but also lifting your chest up while you're rooting down and in. And then really start to connect to an intention for your practice today. Maybe that intention is an offering on Memorial Day. Maybe it is just a moment of silence or a moment of gratitude for those that have served. Maybe it's something else. And let's just take a moment to either have a moment to offer dedication to someone. Maybe it's just taking a moment to reflect on a memory so that we can move forward into the present moment and into the future. And then seal your intention in with your breath, whatever it is. Take a deep, full breath, inhale, open, part the lips, exhale, let the breath out. And then draw both hands together at the heart. Touch your thumbs into your sternum. Lift your sternum up into your hands. And then blink the eyes open if they've been closed. Namaste. Welcome, everyone. Come off of your blocks. Come lay down on your back and have your strap or your belt just nice and handy next to you off to the side. And take the strap just into your right hand as you recline yourself all the way back. And then right away, keep your left knee bent, take your left foot onto the mat, but start to loop the strap around the right foot. Really aim to get the strap around the center of your right foot, everybody. And then just from here, really take the strap on either side of the torso so that your right hand is holding part of the strap and your left hand is holding part of the strap. Slight micro bend into the right knee, and think that that bend into the knee really moves your pelvis a little bit more into alignment. Think that your right hip moves a little bit more over to the right, but that also moves your left hip a little bit more over towards the left. Then, if it feels comfortable for your hamstring today, start to lengthen your quadricep up and away from the center of your right knee to then open up through the back of the knee to straighten through the leg. And so from here, really pause. Notice if the arms are lifted a little bit. Can you draw the tips of the shoulder blades down and in to the mat, spreading through the collarbones. And then stay here for one more full breath. Inhale, really push your foot up. And then take the strap just into your right hand. Take the leg over to the right side, but this time take your left hand on top of the front of your left pubic bone. So you're grounding through the left hip and the left sits bone a little bit more. Notice if you've lost the connection with the left buttock bone, that means that you've gone too far with the right leg. So maybe you draw the right leg up and away just slightly to really firm as best as you can that left hip down and in just slightly. And then stay here for a breath. Think that your right foot moves out a little bit towards the right side, but your left hip really grounds you down and in. Finding that equilibrium in the triangle and the pelvis. And then inhale, lift your right leg all the way up. Stay with the hand stay with the strap rather into the right hand. And then again, rebend through your right knee. So keep that right leg straight as you can, but put a micro bend into the right knee. And then from here, really notice the top of your right thigh. So if you can internally rotate your right thigh just slightly, think that that internal rotation of the right thigh moves your right hip out a little bit towards the side, and then start to lengthen your right quadricep up again towards your hip. So you start to straighten and lengthen through your right leg. Stay for one more breath, and then lift your left leg up. Switch the strap around the left sole of the foot. Set your right foot down and onto the mat. So when we do these kind of internal and external rotation with the pelvis, we're really starting to create a little bit more space through the sacrum at the low back, but we're also really focusing on this movement of the pelvis so that we can find a little bit more of a forward bend and a back bend when we come into practice later. Take again the strap on either side of the body. Take the strap, part of it in the right hand, part of it in the left hand, and then slight micro bend through the left knee. And then see if that brought your left hip a little bit more out into the left side, but it also moves your right hip out slightly. Start to straighten through your left leg, but use your quadricep, everybody, to protect your hamstring. Lengthen your quadricep away from the center of the knee to draw it towards the left hip. And then that action is going to open up through the back of the left knee. Stay here for one more breath. Really press up through the center of the foot. Find the ball and the heel of the foot, and then use that to really articulate that straightening and lengthening of the back of the leg. Take the strap just into the left hand, and then start to open the leg out and towards the left side. And then again, the moment that that right buttock bone and hip really starts to lift and lose contact, that's a good indication that you've lost sort of that range of motion. So come back to a place that feels like it's work, but also a place that feels like you can really keep that connection of the right sit bone down. And that again might mean that you take the right hand to the top of the right frontal hip point. That's it. Use that leg to press out towards the side. Stay for one more full deep breath. Inhale. As you exhale, use the abdominals to draw the leg back in. Draw the front of the ribcage in and down. Lengthen and straighten the left leg up. And then one more time, micro bend through the left knee. Really articulate this movement of opening up through the back of the hamstring. So you can notice the top of your left thigh. Roll your thigh in from that internal rotation of that right thigh. So it moves your left hip out a little bit towards the left side, but it also spreads through the back of the sacrum so you can find that space. Then maybe you start to straighten and lengthen the left leg up, 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 up. And then connect for a moment to your left heel. Is your left heel directly over your frontal hip point, more towards your buttock bone? Or is the heel a little bit closer towards your collarbone? So find that space, heel directly over the buttock bone. Stay for one more full breath. Inhale, exhale, bend into your left knee, set your left foot back and down onto the ground. And then come with your hands and knees around the backs of your thighs, everybody, for a modification of Uttanasana. And then depending on how you're feeling today, you can either stay or you can find 3 rocks, forward and back, forward and back. We're gonna meet in Navasana. That's it. Sit all the way onto your sits bones, and you can have your feet down to start, everybody, to really lift your sternum a little bit more forward and up. That's it. Then maybe start to take your shins parallel. Option to reach your hands out, where you can, again, keep your hands underneath your thighs. We're gonna move 3 times from Navasana to Ardha Navasana. So move at your own pace if you need to. On an inhale, lift your chest up for Navasana. As you exhale, take your hands to your heart, straighten the legs lower for Ardha Navasana. You've got 2 more like that. Inhale, Navasana, come all the way up. Really good. Exhale, hands to the heart, Ardha. Inhale, lift your chest forward and up, Navasana. Exhale, Ardha Navasana. Good. Inhale, lift all the way back up for Navasana. Exhale, cross at the ankles. Really good work. Hands down. Transition to your table pose. Spread your hands evenly and well in table pose. Stack your shoulders on top of your wrists or your hips on top of your knees, everybody. From here, on an inhale, start to look forward towards the front of the mat. We're going to use this visualization of a clock face, and we're going to put ourselves in the middle of it to really start to see our boundaries today. Imagine 12 o'clock is in front of you, and your pubic bone moves a little bit forward towards 12 o'clock. Imagine 6 o'clock is behind you. Start to notice if you can draw your tailbone, just using your imagination, back towards 6 o'clock. At your right side, where your right hand is about 3 o'clock, and at your left side is about 9 o'clock, where your left hand is. Pick up your right foot, and I want you to lengthen and straighten your right leg back. Touch your right toes down to come onto the ball of the right foot. And then from here, really start to articulate the top of the right thigh. Internally rotate your right thigh a little bit more. As you do that, can you move your right hip out a little bit towards 3, but your left hip a little bit more out towards 9 o'clock. Lengthen your pubic bone towards 12 and your tailbone back towards 6. Use your breath to find yourself in the middle of the center. Option here to pick up your right foot, or you can keep it on the ground. Reach your left hand out in front of you. Find opposition. Press your right heel back, but keep your left hand reaching forward. And then see if you can use your right hand, push down through the center of the arch of the right hand. Allow that push down to also lift your right shoulder up and away from the ground. Start to lengthen through all 4 sides of the torso, the front, the back, the right, the left. And then use your abdominals here, everybody. Draw the front of the ribcage in and up. Take the gaze out towards 12 o'clock, but also see 3 and 9 o'clock in your peripheral vision. Stay for one more breath. Set your hand down. Set your knee back down for your table pose. Cow pose. Inhale, look forward, look out. Turn your biceps forward, your triceps back. Open your collarbones. Exhale to cat. Push the hands down, round through the spine. Inhale, come back to your table pose. Lengthen and straighten your left leg back and behind you. Touch the toes down. Really see if you can spread the toes from the big toe to the pinky toe edge of the foot. And then put your brain in your left thigh. Think that your left thigh turns in just slightly to move your left hip out a little bit more towards 9 and your right hip out a little bit more towards 3. Start to draw the front of the rib cage in and up. Now start to pick up your left foot. Option to reach your right hand back towards the front of the room rather. And again, you can always drop and lower your left foot down a little bit, but try to aim to get your left heel in line with your left buttock bone. Think that your pubic bone, again, moves towards 12 o'clock and your tailbone moves back towards 6. So you're really finding yourself at your center. You're finding your imaginary spit and starting to move in one direction and another. Stay for one more full breath. Inhale toward the front of the ribcage in and up. Exhale, right hand down, left knee back down. Inhale to cow pose. Look forward, look out. Exhale to cat. push the hands down around the spine. Inhale, come back to your table pose. Come into a short downward facing dog. Tuck the toes, lift the hips. So when we move from table pose to down dog, our down dog is a little bit shorter. So allow this to really get into the back of the hamstrings. Deeply bend your knees. Think that your thighs move up to your chest. And think that your knees draw a line directly over the center of your feet. Push your hands down to lift out of your shoulders. And then come into a more regulation down dog. Come forward for plank pose. That might mean you draw your legs back a little bit, everybody. That's it. Then start to lift your hips up and back for a downward facing dog. That's it. And again, bend your knees just slightly. When you bend your knees, you're taking the weight out of your shoulders and your back. So you're really creating a little bit more mobility through your upper back and your upper shoulders. On an inhale, lift your right leg straight up and back. As you exhale, pull your right knee in, then step your right foot to your right thumb. Right foot to your right thumb. That's it. Take your hands wide. Take your right hand off the mat and your left hand off the mat. Take your right hand a little bit more towards 3 o'clock and your left hand a little bit more towards 9 o'clock. And then push into your right heel to lift your right buttock bone up. Up, 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 just slightly. Yeah, so that's gonna help spread the back of the sacrum at the low back. Look forward. Take your hands about 2 feet in front of your foot. Shift the weight of your right foot. And you may want to peek up at me just for a moment. We're going to come into a pose called perch pose. Bend your right knee. Kick your left heel in towards your bum. And your left toes are pointed, but you're going to keep both knees together. Your right knee is slightly bent. Your right knee is slightly bent for perch pose. Yes. Good. You've got it. Keep the left toes pointed. Knee to knee. Perch pose. Step your left foot up to meet your right. Left foot up to meet your right. That's it. Make 2 fists. Slide your fists to the inner arches of the feet. Bend your knees a lot. Locate your blocks, if you have them, or 2 books. I see some of your around. You can also just use blocks. So take the blocks on the highest height, highest facet. Yes, good. And then set the blocks about 2 feet in front of you. And rather than really gripping the blocks, I want you to tend to the fingertips. So you're just lightly touching the blocks. Yeah, that's it, Beth. Good. Bend your knees a lot. Keep the knees move forward and your tailbone moves back. But keep the gaze out, everybody, towards 12 o'clock. So look out, Kelly. Look out, Beth. Yes. So good. And then try to straighten your arms. Straighten your arms so that there's a lift of your sternum forward and up. It's a little bit of a back bend. That's it. Then press your feet down. Reach your hands up. Stand up tall. Come all the way up for Urdhva Hastasana. That's it. Exhale, hands together the heart. Relax your hands next to your hips. Good. Inhale, reach your arms forward and up. Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, fold. Uttanasana, forward fold. Come all the way down. Take your hands, keep the blocks where you are. Just take your hands off the blocks. Step your right foot back, then your left to a plank pose. Push your hands down, lift your shoulders up and away from the ground. Lengthen your heels back over the balls of your feet. Then draw the front of the ribcage in and up. Start to shift the hips up and back for down dog. This time, child's pose. Knees down, hips to heels, come all the way back. Fold yourself in. Either stay or take a mini flow. Inhale, come forward onto your belly. Push your hands down as you exhale. Straighten your legs, point your toes. Draw your hands under your shoulders, arms bent to 90 degrees. Inhale, push your pelvis down, lift your chest forward and up. Straighten your legs, baby cobra. Exhale, set your chest back down. Press back, either to child's or straight back to down dog. Inhale, lift your left leg up and back. Exhale, knee to navel. Step your left foot forward to your left thumb. And then right away, widen your hands. Take your hands off of the mat. Right hand to 3, left hand to 9. Push your left heel down. Think that the push down of the heel lifts your buttock bone up. So allow the left buttock bone to come a little bit more in line with the shoulders. And then come into perch pose. If you want to peek at me, take a peek. Straighten your left leg. And then start to point your right toes up. Pull your right knee in to meet your left. Then put a little micro bend into your left knee. Okay, did I have everybody? Okay, yay. I don't know why I froze, but we're back. Stand up. Urdhva Hastasana. Reach the arms all the way up, 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 up. Good. Exhale and fold. Uttanasana. Hands plant down. Step your left foot back for a lunge. Step your right foot back to plank pose. Then again, you can stay. You can come down for traditional flow, or you can come to child's pose. So choose which one feels best for you in your body. And then when you're ready, downward facing dog. Meet all the way back, downward facing dog. Good. Inhale, lift your right leg straight up and back. So you're gonna move a little bit faster this time. Same flow, one breath, one movement. Step your right foot forward to your right thumb. Right away, perch pose. Bend your left knee. Knee comes in to meet the right. Point your left toes. Big bend into your right knee. Look forward, step your left foot up to meet your right. Make two fists. Slide the fists to the inner arches of the feet. Bend your knees. Tense your hands on the blocks. Get your arms straight. Think that it's a back bend. Push your knees forward and allow your buttock bone to move back. Lift your chest up. That's it. Push your feet down. Reach your arms all the way up. Stand up. Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, fold. Uttanasana. We're going to add on from here. Plant your hands. Step your right foot back. Then your left to a plank pose, everybody. This time, look down at your left hand. Your left hand. Tense your fingertips like you're taking a ball underneath. And then option here to either hover your right foot up and off the mat, or maybe you just touch the toes down, and that might be enough just to tense the fingertips on the left side. Look out towards 12 o'clock. You can do this on the knees as well. Good, that's it. Maybe start to turn the top of the right side in. Keep your heel in line with your buttock bone. That's it. Set the hand and the foot down, plank. Hold, hold, hold. Stay with me. Knees lower, or they can stay lifted, chaturanga. Up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. So good. Lift your left leg up and back. Exhale, step your left foot forward. Right away, perch pose. Shift the weight into your left foot. Right leg comes in to meet the right. Point your right toes. Bend your left knee a lot. Set your right foot next to your left. Make two fists. Slide the fists to the inner arches of the feet. Tense your fingertips. Bend your knees, but straighten your arms. That's it. Think your knees go forward and your butt bones move back. That's it. Inhale, rise. Urdhva Hastasana. That's it. Come straight back down. Fold. Uttanasana. Plant your hands. Step your left foot back for a lunge. Step your right foot back to plank. Look at your right hand this time, everybody. Tense the fingertips. Imagine you're cupping a baseball. And then option, this might be enough. If you want a little bit more, pick up your left toes. Keep your heel in line with your buttock bone. Maybe it starts to lift up a little bit more. That's it. Stay connected. Look forward. Draw the front of the ribcage in and up. One more breath. Set your foot down. Set your hand down. Flow or no flow. Meet back. You can take a child's or come back to downward facing dog, your choice. And then pause, either in child's or down dog. Take a moment, take a sip of water if you need it. Take a full breath in, open the mouth, exhale, let it out. That's it. Stay for one more breath. When you're ready, come into downward facing dog. This time, lift your heels, bend both knees, look forward, step, hop, or jump to the top of the mat. Take your hands on top of the blocks, spread your toes, but bend your knees. And then really start to notice and articulate through your feet. You can even look at your feet if you'd like. Push down into your big toes. And then notice that the pushing down of the big toes internally rotates the thighs just slightly. But allow the hips to move out a little bit more. Your right hip moves to 3, your left hip moves towards 9 o'clock. Spread your toes to the pinky toe edge of the foot. Notice that externally rotates your hips to create more space at the sacrum of the low back. And then really find the corners of your feet. Push down through your big toe, the pinky toe, and the center of the heel. Slowly lift your hands off the blocks. Rise, come to standing. Urdhva, Hastasana. That's it. Hands together to the heart. Relax your hands next to your hips. Good. Come into tree pose. I'm going to turn to face you. Shift the weight into your left foot, but put a little bend into your left knee. And then pick up your right foot. You can take your hand to your ankle. Maybe the foot comes to the thigh. Or maybe just today it comes to the calf. Notice where you want to be. And then I always like to start with my hands on the hips to really notice if my pelvis is in alignment. Maybe noticing if the right hip is up. And that might mean you need to take the right foot down just slightly. Anywhere the hands want to be, I'll offer traditional Vrikshasana tree pose. Hands reach up. And then maybe start to find a drishti, a place of focus. Spread your left toes. Push your big toe, your pinky toe in the center of the heel down. Think that your left thigh presses back to really straighten through the back of the leg and the back of the hamstring. And then lift your chest up just slightly. Think that your foot presses down, but it also lifts you up and out of the crown of your head. Stay for one more breath. Beautiful trees. Exhale, hands reach down to the hips. Turn your right knee forward. Set your right foot down. And then shift the weight into your right foot. Come on to the second side. Yeah, if you need to shake it out, shake it out. Left foot either to the calf or to the thigh for Vrikshasana tree pose. And then maybe setting that intention or coming back to that intention that you took at the beginning of your practice. Maybe it is an offering. Perhaps it's just an awareness of where we are today on this Memorial Day. Maybe it doesn't look like the Memorial Day you had planned, right? Things shifted, things changed. But finding gratitude simply for being able to be in the moment, practice dedication. And then stay for one more breath wherever you are, really strong tree poses. Turn the left knee back forward, set the left foot back down. That's it. And then step to the top of the mat if you're not there already. Turn to your left. Turn to your left. Step your feet to the widest part of your mat. And then look at your left foot. Turn your left big toe in a little bit so it's more at a 45-degree angle. And then bend your right knee, lift your right heel. Turn your leg out of the hip to send your right toes forward. Bend the right knee for your warrior two. Yeah, so that's new for you. When you lift the heel, it helps really internally rotate the thighs. So you find that really big external rotation of the hips. And then from here, take your right hand, everybody, to the top or to the front of your pelvis. And then take your left hand to your low back. Turn your torso to the left. Turn your torso to the left. That's it. And then use your right hand on top of your pubic bone. Think that you move your pubic bone up with your right hand. Use your left hand on your sacrum and at your tailbone to slide your tailbone back and down. So you're moving in two directions. Your pubic bone moves up, your tailbone moves back and down. Keep turning the torso a little bit more to the left. And then think that the top of the left thigh moves in to internal rotation just slightly. And then really plug your right hip back into the hip socket to turn your right hip out to find that external rotation. Keep all of this, but if you want to, if you're really sort of noticing the alignment today with the hands on the pelvis, leave them. If not, come to warrior two. Keep everything as it is, just turn to gaze over the right middle finger. Beautiful, Kelly, so strong, so strong, Beth, really nice. Good, from here, slowly begin to take your left hand back to your left hip, and then start to reach your right hand out in front of you. Grab one of your blocks, take your blocks off to the right side. Keep your right knee bent, everybody. Move into a half moon pose. But just for this first few moments, I want you to really bend into your right knee. Lift your left heel in line with the buttock bone if you can. You can really drop your torso down. Look forward towards 12 o'clock. Internally rotate your right thigh to move your right hip a little bit more out towards 3 o'clock. Then start to look forward, get long, then start to turn the torso to the left. Think that your right rib cage moves a little bit more over towards the left. That's it. And then start to straighten. I'm going to come look at the screen. Straighten and lengthen through your right leg. That's it. Keep your back leg neutral. That's it. So good. And then start to turn the pose. Really get long. Kelly, look out in front of you more. Get even longer. Yes. Think that your head moves towards 12. Yeah, it's going to take some practice, right? That's good. Maybe a lap. Then start to turn the pose. Good. Slowly transition back to your warrior two. Rebend through the right knee. And then right away straighten through your left leg. Good. Take one block. We're just going to switch sides. Take the block with you. Turn your feet parallel. And then just take the block off to the second side. We're just going to transition one way or the other today. Start with your right foot. Turn your right big toes in just slightly to about 45 degrees. Hands to the hips. Bend your left knee. Lift your left heel. Turn your leg out of the hip. Take your left hand to the front of your pubic bone. Take your right hand to your tailbone at your back. Rotate your torso to the right. So put your brain in your right foot. Find your right foot and really turn your torso a little bit more towards the right. Think that your pubic bone moves up into your hand and your tailbone moves back and down, really finding yourself at your center. Turn your right thigh in a little bit and then really plug your left hip back into the hip socket. Push down into your left heel to move your left thigh a little bit more parallel. If you'd like the hands keeping at center, stay, or reach the arms back out, warrior two. Turn the gaze over the left middle fingertips. That's it. Stay for one more full breath. Really strong warrior twos. Transition into Ardha Chandrasana. Take your right hand to your hip just for balance. Take your hand to the block. Move the block a little bit wider towards the left corner of the mat. So it's almost like it's moving towards 10 o'clock. Bend into your left knee. Keep your left knee bent for this and then pick up your right leg. And I'm going to come again and look at the screen to give some feedback. So start with that big bend into the left knee. Think perch pose. And start to internally rotate the top of your left thigh to move your left hip out a little bit toward the side. That's it. Opposite knee bend, Beth. So bend your standing leg. Your standing leg. Yes. Good. Coming into Ardha Chandrasana. Yeah, more bend into the standing leg, Kelly. That's going to give you balance. Then you can start to open and explore the pose. Turn the torso open. That's it. Keep the gaze out, 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 out. That's it. When you're ready, come back to warrior two. Bend through both knees, straighten through both legs, turn your feet back to parallel, and step your feet together. Turn back to face the front of your mat, and then just for a moment, take your blocks, reorganize your blocks to the front of the mat, and really have them kind of towards the edge of the front of the mat, so you really have them nice and available in front of you. That's it. Good. Step your feet back together or feet hip distance. Inhale, reach your arms all the way up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale and fold, Uttanasana. Take your hands to your shins, look forward, and then your choice, you can step, hop, or jump back, Chaturanga. Maybe you just build strength with a plank pose. Meet back when you're ready, downward facing dog. Take a breath and settle in down dog. Take a deep breath in. Open mouth, maybe it's a sigh this time, let it out. Reach your right leg straight up and back. Bend your right knee, pull your right knee and set your right foot forward. Take your left foot 45 degrees. Inhale, reach the arms forward and up for warrior one. Good. Shift the weight into your left heel. Track your left knee on top of your left heel, or right heel rather. And then sort of turn the top of your left leg in, but push your left heel back. Lift your chest forward and up. That's it. Start to reach your arms forward. We're going to transition into an eagle pose. Pick your left leg up, wrap it on top of your left thigh, and then left arm underneath the right arm. So good. I know. And so the moment I always am like, oh, eagle. So if you're like that, have that moment and then settle in. Squeeze the inner thighs in and up. So strong. Good. Keep lengthening and lifting your elbows up to chin height. Straighten your legs. Step your feet back together. Unwind your arms. Reach your arms all the way up. Take a big breath in. Let it out with a sigh as you exhale and hold. Hands to shins, halfway lift, look forward and out. Your choice for flow or no flow. So flow practice, if you want a little bit more movement, feel free to do so. When you're ready, meet back in down dog, but take your time. There's no rush. The last thing we want to do is rush through a transition. Enjoy each moment, pose by pose. Left leg, lengthen and lift your left leg up and back. Breathe in. Exhale, step your left foot to your left thumb. Inhale, root the right foot down. Warrior one foot pattern, 45 degrees. Reach your arms all the way up. So strong, good. Bend into your left knee. Take your left heel directly underneath your left knee. And then really put your brain into your right leg. Turn the top of your right thigh in, internally rotated. And keep pushing the weight back into your right heel. Reach your arms forward. Transition again into eagle pose. Right thigh on top of left thigh. Right arm underneath the left arm. Eagle pose. So really challenge yourself to really internally rotate your thighs, but think that that internal rotation of the thighs moves your hips out a little bit towards the side. Pull your elbows up to chin height. Squeeze your forearms to lift your arms up a little bit more. That's it. Step your right foot next to your left. Straighten your legs. Get that big aha release moment. Reach your arms up. Really good. Exhale. Hold. Hands to shins, halfway lift. Look forward, look out. Step, hop, or jump back. Chaturanga. Meet me in a child's pose, but we're not going to be in a held child's pose. It's just a transition. So when you come to child's, beautiful, Mary, so good. Roll over onto one hip. Send the legs out around in front of you. That's it. So right away, come to a seat. Navasana. Take your knees into your chest. Again, you can do this with your feet down, or you can have your hands to your thighs. So move at your own pace. This time we're going to do the same flow we did 5 times, Navasana to Ardha Navasana. On an inhale, really sit onto your buttock bone. Your buttock bone is going to lift your heels up a little bit. That's it. Push your shoulder blades forward into your chest to widen your collarbones. Option to free your hands. Inhale, Navasana. Exhale, lower Ardha, hands at the heart. So strong. Inhale, reach up, Navasana. Exhale for Ardha. Inhale, Navasana. Exhale, Ardha. Just 2 more. Inhale, Navasana. Exhale, Ardha. So maybe imagine you're in a cool body of water for this last one. Inhale, Navasana. Exhale, Ardha Navasana. And then slowly come all the way back up, Navasana. Set your feet down. And then take your ankles, just cross at your ankles. Have a seat. Hands to the knees. Just take a moment here. So I'm going to demo the next part that we're going to come into, Warrior 3. So feel free just to watch for a moment, take a sip of water, enjoy yourself. We're going to use our blocks, and we're going to take our blocks just like we've been doing. I encourage you actually to take your blocks onto the mat so you have a little bit more of the grip of the mat for this. Take your blocks about 2 feet in front of you. And then we're going to tent our fingertips just like we've been doing. So really try to avoid gripping a hold of the block. We're going to come into Warrior 3, but we're going to really use this slight turn of the pelvis that we've been playing with in Perch Pose and Warrior poses in our Ardha Chandrasana today to really find the stability of the feet, but it's the whole lower body and the upper body that really gets us into the length of a Warrior 3. We're going to start, just watch the pose for a minute. We're going to bend into your left knee, and we're really going to pull the chest towards the thigh. So we're going to start in Perch Pose, straightening through, or I'm sorry, keeping your right knee bent, but pointing your right toes. And you're going to use to internally rotate to then start to straighten and lengthen your right leg back. So you're almost going to be a little bit of a hinge. Then when you can really get the back leg nice and straight, you're going to focus on that front left thigh. You're going to internally rotate the thigh, and that's going to help lift the inner part of the right thigh up. Then maybe push the hands down to lengthen through all 4 parts of the torso. The front, the back, the right, the left. Use the abdominals here to draw the front of the ribcage in and up for your Warrior 3. And eventually the back right foot is flexed. Heel in line with the buttock bone. Bend into the knee, set your feet down, and then we'll switch and do it on the second side. So I'll cue you through all of that, but really use the pelvis today. So the pelvic girdle is not only the pelvis, but it's also the thighs. And when we really focus on the thighs as kind of spiraling in or spiraling out, we have more control to really use the back legs to find that beautiful lift, which is what we want in our Warrior 3. So step your feet about 2 feet behind your blocks. Bend your knees, tent your fingertips. Shift the weight into your left foot. Spread your toes from the big toe to the pinky toe. Press into the heel. Big left knee a lot. Perch pose. Take your right heel to your right bum. That's it. And then right away, keep your left knee bent. So even think about bending your left knee more to then straighten your right leg back. But keep the bend of the left knee. That's it. Turn your left inner thigh in to move your left hip a little bit more out. Then maybe start to straighten and lengthen through your right leg. Lift up through the inner part of the right thigh to find that length. That's it. Then when you feel the connection, push your fingertips down to lengthen through all 4 sides of the torso. Really strong back. And then maybe start to play a little bit from here with the gaze. Where is your stability in your legs? Where's your ability in your torso? Where's your vision looking? Big bend into the left knee, step your right foot back up to the top. That's it. Take a moment and fold, bend both knees. And then switch sides, shift the weight into your right foot. Start with Perch Pose, left knee to right, point the left toes. Bend and deepen your right knee a little bit more. Straighten and lengthen through your left leg when you've got it. That's it. So notice just maybe how much more control you have in this pose. This is an internal rotation of the legs. So really use that internal rotation of the top of the right thigh to lift the inner part of the left leg up a little bit more. That's it. So beautiful, Kelly. Then when you're ready, lengthen through all 4 sides of the torso. Really strong stability, Mary. Good. Then when you're ready, keep playing with the gaze. Take the gaze out, out, out towards 12. But use your vision to look around you to the sides. Really find your full peripheral vision. That's it. Can you draw the front of the navel in and up? Big bend into the right knee, come back. Step both feet back together. Keep your hands on the blocks, bend your knees, look forward and out. Find that same back bend that we've been playing with. Inhale, halfway lift, and then exhale, straighten the legs. But as you straighten the legs, really lift your quadriceps up and away from the center of the knees to then start to fold. And then grab opposite hand to opposite elbow for a ragdoll pose. Stay for one more breath. Let it out with a sigh. Take your blocks off to the right side of your mat so you have them handy. And then your choice from here, you can step back, find a final flow if you want to flow a little bit. Meet back when you're ready in down dog. When you're ready, lift your right leg up and back. Exhale, pull your right knee in, set your shin down, and start to set up for pigeon pose from here, but we're gonna use the blocks as we settle in. You can also come onto your back if that's better for you. Take your blocks to the highest height and facet. Walk your blocks back towards your hips. Your block on your right side comes about towards 3 o'clock. Your block on your left side comes about towards 9 o'clock. And from here, I want you to really tuck your left toes into the mat, everybody. Tuck your left toes in, that's it. And then think that that tuck in lifts your left knee just slightly. Turn the top of your left thigh in and down to move your right hip out towards the side. Then re-release your left knee down, untuck your toes. Yes, that's it. If your right hip is off the ground, tuck your block or your book underneath the hip. And then I'm just gonna offer putting a block underneath your diaphragm. It's about where your navel is. And that's gonna keep your torso lifted. So when you walk forward and fold into pigeon pose, we want to actually have the shoulders in line with the buttock bone. We don't want to have the shoulders lower than the buttock bones. So look forward. That might mean you come on. I prefer to come onto my forearms for this and look forward. And then really put yourself in that sphere of an imaginary clock. Really start to map out where the body is using the pelvis. Find your right buttock bone. Think that the right buttock bone moves out a little bit more towards 3 o'clock. Draw an imaginary line, all of us with your imagination, over to the front of your left pubic bone. And then draw an imaginary line from your left buttock bone, move it out a little bit towards 9 o'clock to the front of your right pelvic bone. Think that your perineum looks back behind you. Your pubic bone keeps moving forward and up towards 12 o'clock. And your tailbone presses back and down. And then add the breath as you inhale. Breathe into the front, the back, the left, the right, up and down. Exhale, come back to yourself at the center. Stay for one more breath. And then we'll transition to the second side. Walk your hands back. Lift your chest up. If you took a block underneath one side, feel free to switch. So sometimes at this point in practice, I always just come to table pose. So if that's where you are, maybe you come into table, or if you prefer a little bit more, down dog. Bend your knees, shake it out a little bit side to side. And then we'll start to transition to the left side. Lift your left leg up. Exhale, set your shin forward. Start by dropping your back knee down to give yourself an anchor. Then walk your hands around to find your blocks. Take your blocks again on the highest height. So for most of us, one side is a little bit trickier, or we have more awareness on that side than the other. Walk your hands back, right hand to 3, the left hand to 9. Tuck your right toes in. That should be the leg straight back behind you. Tuck your toes in to lift your right knee up just slightly. It doesn't have to move very far. Think the top of the right thigh moves in to move your left hip out a little bit more towards 9 o'clock. Then untug your toes, drop your right knee down, slide a block if you want to use it underneath your left hip. Again, if you liked having the block underneath the diaphragm, if you have more blocks too, you can use more blocks underneath you. Just start to fold. And come all the way down. You can come onto the forearms, you can come down a little bit lower, or maybe stay lifted. Just see what feels best in your body today. And then really see if your pubic bone is reaching towards 12 o'clock and your tailbone is moving back towards 6. And if your hips aren't in alignment and your pelvis isn't in alignment, that means that you need to maybe turn your right thigh in a little bit more to move your left hip out a little bit more. So an internal rotation of your right thigh to externally rotate your left thigh. And then stay and breathe. And so when we find these points in the body, when we map out our own personal terrain, it's without judgment, it's simply to just draw more awareness so that we know where our own personal container is, so that we can get comfortable with being uncomfortable, know where we go, and know where we may not go, so that we can mediate well and learn to articulate both sides to really navigate our own personal territory. Stay for one more breath. As you exhale, maybe let out a sigh. Lift yourself up and off your forearms if you came down. Take your blocks just for a moment off and to one side, and then roll over onto your left hip. Send both legs out around in front of you. And then just for a moment, straighten your legs. Take your hands, we're going to move into Paschimottanasana, but we're going to move from the pelvis today. Take your hands to, take your right hand to 3, your left hand to 9. And then from here, really find your sits bones root down. And then bend into your knees, but don't move your heels when you bend your knees. Yeah, so don't move your heels, Mary. Yeah, that's it. Good. Flex your toes. And then see if you can really push your pubic bone down to lift your lift your pubic bone forward and up rather, to drop your tailbone back and down. So there's a little bit of a lift. That's it. So good. And then start to draw your torso on top of your thighs. Maybe the hands reach out. Maybe they touch the shins. Think that your thighs move up into your chest, but keep your gaze out, everybody, towards 12 o'clock. Don't fold and round like a cat. Really keep the gaze out. So that lifting up. And then maybe start to straighten through the legs. And rather than just sort of mindlessly straightening the legs, use that same cue that we've been working with. Draw your thighs away from the center of the knee. Move your center of your quadricep up to your hip point to begin to open up through the backs of your knees. Press into your big toe, your pinky toe, and your center of the heel. Imagine you're pushing your feet into a wall in front of you. Think that your sternum lifts forward and up to find more space. And then keep your vision looking out in front of you. Know what's behind you. Really take a moment to reflect on the memories behind you. Feel yourself at your center, but see what's moving you forward. So we want to have a good reflection of our past, but we want it to move us forward. Take one more breath in. Exhale, breath out. And then slowly come all the way back up to a seat. Lower onto your back. Draw both knees in into the chest. Take your knees to the right. You can straighten your left arm out towards the side for a gentle supine twist. And if you want to really open up through the shoulders and get a little bit more air capacity today, flip your left palm up to really open up your armpit, to open up your collarbone. When you do that, you're creating more space to actually breathe. And then if you want a little bit more, take your right hand on top of your left thigh. So you're giving yourself just a little bit of a slight adjustment from here. And then settle in. Maybe close the eyes. And we'll start to transition to the left side. When you're ready, take your time. If you want to linger, feel free to linger, especially since you're at home. Draw your knees back in. Draw your knees over to the left. If you accidentally did the other side, just switch. And then should be your right arm straight. If it's not, just switch it. Turn your right palm up to open up your collarbone and your armpit. If you want a little bit more, take your left hand to your right thigh. Give yourself a little self-adjustment. And then maybe close the eyes. And maybe just tuning into your environment. At first, just feeling the temperature, if you feel warm or cool. Choosing to listen to sounds around you. Maybe drawing in what you smell, good or bad, what you taste or what you crave, maybe what you ate for breakfast, or what you're craving for lunch. And then noticing what you see, or maybe what you will see when you open your eyes. And then feel the whole body, all senses together. And draw the knees back into the chest. As a variation today for Shavasana, you're welcome to take traditional Shavasana. Since you're at home, I can see some of you have the ability to do Viparita Karani, legs up the wall. We did a really internally rotated practice. So Viparita Karani really focuses on external rotation of the thigh and the pelvis and the hip. So take that opportunity. If you have it, you can also take your legs over a chair. Kelly, you might be able to do that since you're outside, or over the edge of a bed. But notice where you want to be today and then settle in for your Shavasana. Close the eyes, allow yourself to simply drop in. For a reading. Reading honors those in service on this Memorial Day. And it's called Freedom's Memorial by Del Abe Jones. It says, this day is set aside to honor those who took the chance to die, but they have died in vain if we ever forget the reason why. Freedom can be like time, slipping away before we even know, but we all have the choice, a duty to battle freedom's foe. Let us give thanks this day to all those brave who paid the highest cost, not take it for granted, and realize it could be easily lost. And so in these last few moments of Shavasana, maybe just take a moment to honor those that have gone before us to give us our freedom. Honoring those who right now are perhaps still serving, both in battle and in healthcare positions. And take a moment to just find gratitude. Roll to your right side when you're ready. Maybe come to a comfortable seat, or if you want to linger in Shavasana on this beautiful day, you're welcome to do so. And then sit up nice and tall. Take your hands at your heart, or anywhere supported for you. And we'll close together with one breath. Take a deep breath, inhale. Exhale through the mouth. Blink the eyes open. Namaste, everyone. Thank you for joining today. Thank you for those that usually come later. I usually teach at 5, and so it's nice to see you.